What if some of the things you do every morning are quietly working against your testosterone health? I'm not talking about some expensive testosterone booster, and I'm not talking about a miracle drink that supposedly makes you feel 25 again. I'm talking about ordinary morning habits that many men over 60 repeat every single day. Some may affect the factors that are connected with healthy testosterone levels, such as sleep, physical activity, nutrition, body weight, and overall metabolic health. And here's the important part. Having one of these habits does not mean you have low testosterone. But if you're noticing lower energy, reduced sex drive, fewer spontaneous erections, reduced muscle mass, or other changes, it's worth understanding what may be happening rather than automatically blaming everything on age. Today, we're going through 7 morning mistakes men over 60 should know about. And stay until number 7, because it's one of the easiest mistakes to overlook, and it has nothing to do with taking a testosterone supplement. Welcome back to Men's Health Today. I'm Dr. Natalie. Today we're talking about testosterone and morning habits. Testosterone is an important hormone in men. It's involved in sex drive, sperm production, muscle and bone health, and other aspects of male physiology. And yes, testosterone levels generally decline gradually as men get older. But here's something I want every man over 60 to understand. Getting older and having clinically low testosterone are not exactly the same thing. The Endocrine Society says hypogonadism should be diagnosed when a man has compatible symptoms and consistently low testosterone levels confirmed with appropriate testing. So this video isn't about diagnosing yourself from a checklist. It's about looking at everyday habits that may be relevant to the bigger picture of men's health. Before we continue, a quick medical disclaimer. This video is for general educational purposes only and is not medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The symptoms we discuss can have many possible causes. If you're concerned about low testosterone, or you're experiencing persistent changes in energy, libido, erections, mood, or muscle mass, speak with a qualified healthcare professional. Now let's get into the 7 morning mistakes. Morning mistake 1, waking up and immediately staying sedentary. The first mistake is surprisingly simple. Starting the day by staying completely inactive for hours. You wake up, you sit down for breakfast, then you sit in the car, then perhaps you sit at a desk. And before you know it, the first several hours of your day have passed with almost no movement. Now, I'm not saying you need to perform an intense workout the moment you get out of bed. That's not the point. The bigger issue is overall physical activity. Regular physical activity is an important part of maintaining overall health. And physical activity can be particularly relevant for men dealing with obesity or metabolic problems, which can be associated with lower testosterone. So rather than thinking, I need a special testosterone exercise, think about the bigger picture. How active is my day? The goal here isn't to turn your morning into a military workout. It's simply to avoid making the first several hours of the day completely sedentary. Morning mistake 2, skipping a balanced breakfast and then eating poorly later. The second mistake is more complicated. It's treating breakfast as either completely irrelevant or an excuse to eat poorly later in the day. Some men skip breakfast and then become extremely hungry by late morning. Others start the day with highly processed foods and very little protein, fiber, or micronutrient-rich food. Now, there's no single breakfast that magically raises testosterone, and I want to be very clear about that. You will see plenty of online claims saying eat this one food and your testosterone will explode. That's not how human hormones work, but nutrition still matters for overall health. The Endocrine Society notes that factors such as poor nutrition and severe illness can temporarily lower testosterone levels, while healthy lifestyle habits, including regular exercise and a good diet, support normal testosterone health. So the question isn't, what testosterone breakfast should I eat? It's, what does my overall eating pattern look like? Here's where I want you to be careful. A lot of men over 60 are searching for a single food, drink, or supplement that will dramatically increase testosterone. But if you're sleeping badly, carrying excess weight, physically inactive, or dealing with an underlying health condition, focusing on one testosterone food can distract from the bigger picture. The hormone is part of a much larger system, and that's why mistake number 3 is especially important. Morning mistake 3, getting too little or poor quality sleep. The third mistake actually starts the night before. Not getting adequate quality sleep. You might wake up early every morning, but if you're consistently sleeping poorly, waking repeatedly, or feeling exhausted despite spending enough time in bed, that's different from simply being an early riser. Testosterone levels fluctuate throughout the day and are generally higher in the morning. That's one reason testosterone testing is generally performed in the morning. But here's the part that's often missed. Poor sleep can complicate the whole picture. Sleep problems can affect energy, mood, metabolism, and overall health. And sleep disorders such as sleep apnea can also be relevant when evaluating a man with possible testosterone deficiency. So if you're waking up every morning feeling like you barely slept, don't simply assume. That's what happens after 60. There may be more to investigate. And here's something many men don't realize. If you wake up tired every morning, have low energy during the day, and notice changes in your sex drive or erections, you shouldn't automatically conclude that testosterone is the problem. Those symptoms can have many causes, and that's precisely why proper evaluation matters. Morning mistake 4, ignoring your waistline and metabolic health. The fourth mistake is ignoring changes in your weight and metabolic health. This one is particularly important for men over 60. Excess body weight and obesity can be associated with low testosterone, and the Endocrine Society notes that when hypogonadism is associated with overweight or obesity, weight loss may be an important first-line approach rather than automatically turning to testosterone therapy. That doesn't mean lose weight and your testosterone will automatically become normal. That's far too simplistic. But it does mean body weight and metabolic health can be part of the overall picture. So if your waistline has been gradually increasing over the years, don't think of it as only a cosmetic issue. It's one of several health factors worth discussing with your healthcare professional. So far we've covered, number 1, starting the day completely sedentary. Number 2, poor overall nutrition. Number 3, consistently poor sleep. Number 4, ignoring weight and metabolic health. But we're only halfway through. And the next 3 mistakes are where this gets even more interesting, because one involves something many men take every morning without thinking twice. Another involves alcohol and lifestyle choices. And number 7 involves a mistake men often make when they become concerned about testosterone in the first place. Morning mistake 5, using alcohol as part of your regular routine. The 5th mistake may sound unusual, because most people don't think of alcohol as a morning testosterone issue. But the habits you repeat every day are what matter. If drinking is part of your regular lifestyle, and especially if you're drinking excessively, it can become relevant to sexual and hormonal health. The Endocrine Society lists excessive alcohol use among factors that can contribute to low testosterone and hypogonadism. Endocrine.org. And this is important because alcohol can affect more than one system. It can interact with sleep, it can affect weight and metabolic health, and excessive alcohol use can affect overall health in ways that may overlap with sexual and hormonal concerns. So if you're concerned about testosterone, don't just ask, what can I take? Also ask, what am I doing regularly that could be working against my health? Morning mistake 6, assuming every symptom means low testosterone. This is one of the biggest mistakes I want men to avoid. You wake up tired, your sex drive isn't what it used to be. You've lost some muscle, you're feeling less energetic, and you immediately think, my testosterone must be low. But those symptoms are not specific to testosterone deficiency. Low energy can be related to poor sleep. Changes in body composition can be related to inactivity or nutrition. Low libido can have psychological, relationship, medication, hormonal, or other medical causes. And erectile difficulties can have many possible causes, including vascular, metabolic, neurological, medication-related, and psychological factors. That's why the Endocrine Society emphasizes that a diagnosis of hypogonadism should be based on symptoms and consistently low testosterone levels, rather than symptoms alone. Endocrine.org. So don't diagnose yourself from a social media checklist. A symptom can be a reason to look into something. It isn't automatically a diagnosis. And this is where I want to challenge something you may have seen online. If someone tells you you have these 3 symptoms, so your testosterone is low, be careful. That's not enough to establish a diagnosis. Proper testing matters. And testosterone measurements are generally taken in the morning because levels vary throughout the day. Endocrine.org. So if you're genuinely concerned about testosterone, a healthcare professional can determine whether testing makes sense and interpret the results alongside your symptoms and medical history. Morning mistake 7. Chasing testosterone boosters instead of looking at the bigger picture. And finally, mistake number 7. Chasing testosterone boosters before understanding what's actually going on. This is probably one of the easiest traps to fall into. You search online for how to increase testosterone after 60s, and suddenly you're looking at powders, pills, drinks, herbs, special foods, extreme workouts, and promises that sound almost too good to be true. But the problem is that a flashy claim isn't the same thing as medical evidence. The Endocrine Society specifically notes that testosterone treatments should not be used simply to improve strength, athletic performance, appearance, or prevent aging-related changes in men without an appropriate diagnosis. Endocrine.org and testosterone therapy itself is a medical treatment, not a general-purpose anti-aging product. There are situations where testosterone treatment may be appropriate, but that decision belongs with a qualified healthcare professional after proper evaluation. Let's put everything together. Mistake 1, starting your day completely sedentary. Mistake 2, having a consistently poor overall eating pattern. Mistake 3, ignoring persistent sleep problems. Mistake 4, ignoring changes in weight and metabolic health. Mistake 5, excessive alcohol use. Mistake 6, assuming every symptom automatically means low testosterone. Mistake 7, chasing testosterone boosters before understanding the underlying issue. And notice what connects almost all 7. They're not really about finding a magic testosterone hack. They're about overall health. Testosterone is only one part of men's health. Sleep matters. Physical activity matters. Nutrition matters. Body composition matters. Metabolic health matters. Cardiovascular health matters. And your overall medical history matters. That's why the goal shouldn't be, how can I make my testosterone number as high as possible? The better question is my testosterone appropriate for me? And if it's low, why? That's a much more useful question. If you've noticed persistent changes such as significantly reduced sex drive, persistent fatigue, reduced muscle mass, changes in body composition, erectile difficulties, reduced morning or spontaneous erections, mood changes, don't automatically assume testosterone is the explanation. These symptoms can have many causes. If they're persistent or concerning, discuss them with a qualified healthcare professional. A proper evaluation may include your medical history, symptoms, physical examination, and appropriately timed laboratory testing. So if you're over 60 and you're concerned about testosterone, don't let the internet convince you that you need a miracle food, drink, or supplement. Look at the bigger picture. How well are you sleeping? How active are you? How is your overall diet? What has happened to your weight and waistline? How much alcohol are you drinking? And are you trying to diagnose yourself from symptoms alone? Those questions are much more useful than chasing the latest testosterone trend. And remember, getting older doesn't automatically mean you have testosterone deficiency, but persistent changes in your health are worth understanding. If you found this video useful, subscribe to Men's Health today. We cover testosterone, prostate health, erectile health, blood flow, nutrition, and other important aspects of healthy aging for men over 50. And if you're concerned about symptoms that may be related to testosterone, speak with a qualified healthcare professional rather than relying on online claims or self-diagnosis. I'll see you in the next video.